All right, here's my 2-year review. Actually, it's more than 2 years. I got this in 2018 and it was in March. I believe it was March 11th. So I've had it for over 2 years now. I've got 68,000 kilometers on it and obviously no issues with it. It's not even broken in yet. Actually, I did have one issue with this. When I picked up the truck, I was really excited, didn't really notice it. About a week of ownership, I noticed it, and I ended up having to go into the dealer like 3 times. It was a bit of a pain in the ass, and I'll let you know what that was about at the end of the video. This is the TRD Off-Road, which doesn't have some of the cosmetic crap that the TRD Pro does. I like them both, obviously, but the reason I bought this one had nothing to do with money. It had to do with the KDSS suspension. I was really intrigued with the how that suspension system works, and it's the only 4Runner that you can get the KDSS on, so it's kind of cool. It's you'd have to look up how it works. I'm not going to go into that now. I think there's lots of videos on that, but it's a hydraulic suspension system. It comes off the Land Cruiser, and again, it's the only 4Runner that has this suspension. You can't get it in Canada anyway. On any other vehicle. So that's kind of why I got it. It's got the same off-road capabilities. It's got crawl control, A-track, all the toys, locking diff, same mechanical system as the TRD Pro. And this vehicle in Canada anyway, the TRD Off-Road, comes with a sunroof as standard. There's really not much you can get other than small accessories like cargo mats and crap like that. So here we go. So this is the light switch here for these lights. These guys are map lights. This here is your sunroof controls, garage door openers 1, 2, and 3, off traction control, A-track, locking rear diff. A-track is basically, this is the same thing as far as I can tell. This is just light to heavy, how it affects A-track. This is crawl control on and off button, and then your speed, low, medium, and high. So that's your crawl control. But anyway, same stuff as the TRD Pro. Obviously the SR5 doesn't have that. It's just got the switch. This one has the lever that you pull and engage, so you know it's in there. It's not going to break like a switch. All right, here is the mechanical shift knob. This is the transfer case lever, and this is, I don't know if you can see that, 2 high. It's in 2-wheel drive right now, so by pulling down on that, you're in 4 high. You can shift on the fly. To get it in 4 low, of course, you have to go into stop the vehicle, go into neutral, and then put it into 4 low. So that is the mechanical shift knob. The Limited and the SR5s just have a dial. It's electronic, and this is one of the reasons why I picked this vehicle, is because it's mechanical. It's not going to break. I'm not new to Toyota. So in '96, I bought my first Toyota, and it was a Toyota Tacoma. It was a 4x4 extended cab, and it had the 2.7 liter 4 cylinder, and it was awesome, man. I beat the hell out of that thing. I don't know, I put 90-something thousand kilometers on it, so whatever that is, around 60,000 miles, and not even a light bulb went out. Just an awesome machine. I should have kept it, but I don't think I had any money at the time, or not enough to buy it out. The buyout, I believe, was about 11 grand back then, and I think they were still worth 16 or 18,000, and they just hold their value like crazy, just like all Toyotas. I had 4 Land Rovers that I rebuilt the chassis on and did a bunch of off-road stuff, you know, Series 2As, short wheelbase and long. Did a whole bunch of that stuff, off-roading and fun, and I bought a 1988 first gen 4Runner, a white one, you know, the one with the fiberglass top. Pretty nasty, but it was a cool thing. Underpowered. I think it had a 3 liter in it, but very underpowered. But it was a fun toy. The cap came off, and it was just kind of hillbilly goodness. And I bought a 1988 FJ60. It had the 4 liter gas engine, air conditioning, automatic, and it was really underpowered. What a cool thing, though. It just a last forever machine. But out here in the mountains, it just was no fun towing anything, and really it was no fun on the hills that we can get into here, just, you know, on the highway. So So after that, or in around that time, I bought a 3rd gen, and I believe the first year of the 3rd gen, a 96 Limited. It was black, 3.4 liter engine, and that thing was awesome. It was in mint condition. I'm out in the Western Canada, and it's really arid where I am, so there's no moisture, there's no rust, there's no salt, so the body on these older vehicles will just last forever. It's still going today. I believe it has 500,000 or more on it. I think it's in British Columbia right now, but again, just a great truck, and wish I had kept that as well. So that's it. Then I had a, what do we have? 2018, we also bought a RAV4 at the same time, or just after this 4Runner that I bought. So yeah, I've had a few different Toyotas, and I've had a ton of off-road vehicles and vehicles in general. Anyway, the reason I bought this, and I've been leasing vehicles like crazy. I've been leasing Ford loaded up F-150s, lots of power, the twin turbo. Had a great time towing trailers and doing all my work stuff, but it's not something I wanted long term. The economy started getting weird where I am, and I just wanted to have a vehicle that would last me. I'm not looking at leasing something for the rest of my life, you know, $1,000 a month forever, just keep trading it in. So I wanted something tough as nails, and it needed to do all the stuff that I do, which is hiking, hunting, you know, off-roading, doing all this kind of rugged stuff, but last forever. And possibly, you know, I'm not going to buy another vehicle. I want to keep this thing for 20 years like the old 3rd gen 4Runner that's still kicking around. So that was the plan with this. I got rid of my loaded up F-150 lease and got this thing again in spring of 2018. It came with the crappy Dunlop tires, and I know why they do that. They got to keep the cost down. They don't want to compete with the TRD Pro. So it came with those crappy tires. I got rid of them about 1.5 years later, I guess. They were fine. I mean, fine for the road and just whatever. They're cheesy kind of tires. You're not going off-road with them or anything, but they were fine. Right after I got rid of them, it was winter, so I put on some Nokian Hakkapeliitta 8 studded tires. Again, I'm in the mountains, so we can get snow like a lot of people can't even imagine. And I believe those tires probably saved my life more than once or twice. Amazing tires. We get in some wicked winter conditions here. So after that, I decided, and a couple buddies had the KO2s. They weren't really happy with them. A nice looking tire and everything. So I decided I'm going to pick these guys here. And these are the Nitto Ridge Grapplers. I didn't bump the size up. I kept them the same as stock. So they're 265 7017s. And the reason being is I've done a lot of lift kits in my life with different trucks and vehicles and so on. And I find that the power, it kind of screws up the whole overall gear ratio for me anyway. These 4Runners don't have a lot of juice, so I didn't want to kind of mess that up. I would have went one size up, but they didn't have a 275, so I stuck with the 265. I didn't want to go with a 285 because I believe they would rub and I would have to get a lift kit. Don't want to get a lift kit at this point. I like this ride quality. It's kind of spongy, but it's nice off-road. So I'm just kind of keeping it stock as it is. So again, stock size tires, but the Nitto Ridge Grapplers are pretty cool looking, and we'll see how those last. Maybe we'll get a review out of those. I got these on maybe a month ago. A little bit noisier, obviously, than the crappy Dunlops, but not bad at all. And of course, with an aggressive tire, you know, with a pretty deep lug, wide lug, you're going to be picking up gravel and you're going to be winging it highway, man. A lot of times I jump right off the gravel onto asphalt, and you know, 5 minutes later I'm on a pretty main highway, or I can be, and I'm flinging 3/4 inch stones all over the place, man. And that's probably how I got this giant stone chip in my window last winter. Not from me, but by someone else for sure. But yeah, these things hold the rock, so you can hear them as you pick up speed, just bouncing around in the wheel well. So maybe you've never thought of that, but that's what happens. Anyway, the reason, the funny thing is I see on these reviews, and it's just kind of bizarre to me how they're reviewing a new Chevy or a new whatever, something, against a Tacoma or a Toyota 4Runner, or whatever it may be. It'll be a brand new model year of something. And I don't even know how you can compare that. It's crazy to me. These things are tried and true. They last forever. The resale on them is like no other vehicle on the planet. So even after this thing is 5 years old, it's still, once it is 5 years old, it's still worth huge cash. Where my old Ford F-150s were like just a heap of nothing. So the resale on these guys, deadly, awesome. Longevity, it's all about that to me. And ruggedness. The ride's fine, everything's fine. It's not the state-of-the-art stuff. And that, again, is what appeals to me. Stuff that's not going to break. Believe it or not, it has exact same cruise control switch and lever that my 96 4Runner had on it. That's Toyota, man. If it's not broken, and they're not going to upgrade stuff and hope it holds together. So I only did a couple mods to this thing. One of them is I took off the running boards because I dinged them and they sit a little bit low and it looks better without it, in my opinion. And I added a power port. This is a power port, this isn't. This is just for playing music, so it doesn't push out much power. So I added a dual USB plug in here. It's off Amazon and it fits right in the factory slot and gives me power for my phone, which is up here. This sucks bad. It flies off when I'm off-road. I'm definitely going to get a new head unit that mirrors my Samsung phone. So back what I'm talking about. So to compare this with a newer model of anything, it just doesn't even jive, because you don't know if that new model of whatever is going to last after 3 years or 4 years. I see a ton of guys, I know a ton of guys with all kinds of brand new whatever size trucks, and they got to do the front end after 3 years. That to me is insane. Again, we're in a throwaway world right now where you lease something every 3 years or 4 years and you dump it and get something new. So you know what, my Fords did well for me. They had no issues with my Fords. They lasted the 3 years the lease was up and I got rid of them. This is a tried and true system. The automatic, the 4-liter, it's bulletproof. So that's why I have it. And that's why I'm not comparing it to something that might only last 4 years before the front end falls out of it. And I also see reviews about the seats, how the seats are leather, and they're not leather. They're the TRD, and you know what? I can't remember what the hell they call it. It's not pleather, but it's not leather either. I'll get that info here. Capable off-road too. It's really amazing. I've had this buried deep in a ditch in the winter, actually in the early winter, and put it in 4, nothing. Put it in 4 low, nothing. All wheels spinning. I locked the differential up, put it in 8-track, and crawl control, and the thing literally just walked its way out. So the system does work for sure. And I get it if you're towing or hauling or you need a pickup size truck. I get it. There's compromises to everything for sure. So what the problem was, the brakes felt spongy to me, and I bled brake lines before and know what it feels like to have air in the lines. And I went back to have it checked out, and they thought I was crazy. They said they adjusted this and that, but I don't think they did a thing. I got in it, it was still the same. It took about 3 trips to get it fixed from the dealer, and they finally did fix it, and it was air in the lines. I don't think that's a Toyota thing. I think that's a dealer issue. I believe these trucks come to their dealers without any fluids in them. I don't know if that's true or not. Let me know in the comments. If you're looking for an SUV that's going to last you your lifetime, possibly, this is the one to go for. The only thing I'm jonesing for now, which I hope it stops because I don't want to go there money-wise, is the new 2020 Toyota Land Cruiser Heritage Edition. What a beauty truck, other than that roof rack. Oh yeah, there's a storm blowing in for sure.